I keep giving bad people good ideas.
Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about Wi-Fi skeleton. And pretty much with Wi-Fi skeleton, it's an interesting situation because it's very a mixed feeling situation. Again, before we jump into today's video, I know I kind of promised, oh, there'll be more gameplay videos. I've just been busy. Honestly, was gonna do Uber or my vet assisting job, but Uber kind of pays like shit in my area, and there's a lot of bad and drunk drivers in my area. And I feel like that's kind of with any area, but especially my area, you can really tell because sometimes it's just like, no offense, but old people, some of them shouldn't be driving, and some of them just have to drive because they ain't got anyone else to drive them. But combination of that and drunk drivers is not a good combo you want to do when you're doing Uber. And just the shitty tips, I just was kind of like, fuck all this. Again, I'm not going to shit on Uber completely. If you're in a bigger town or bigger city, it's pretty good. And Uber does have its benefits. But also, my dumbass, I was planning on going to visit my friend in 2023 on Thanksgiving because I was like having some arguments with my roommate. We weren't like on the best of terms, and I just kind of wanted to get out of town. And I only had my permit, and I knew what this car I had at the time, the 1999 Oldsmobile. I knew the fucking car had shitty brakes. And I knew I was a pretty new driver at the time, and people kind of were like, hey, watch it, or they're like, hey, you shouldn't do it, but I did it anyways. And pretty much my dumbass, like, I'm 30 minutes away from this motherfucker's house, and pretty much traffic comes to a stop, but, like, I remember from my memory, the light was green, but, like, you know how motherfuckers would just sit at an intersection for a second, like, a minute or two? Like, I don't know why, like, for me at least, the second I see that light turn green, I'm smashing my gas, I'm out that bitch. Whatever. But either way, I realized that, and I try to come to a stop. And before this, I knew the brakes were shitty. I didn't know they were this shitty. And either way, I'm like applying the brakes. I'm all the way down on the brake, and my car just slid into the motherfucker shit. Luckily, not at full speed. Luckily, I was able to slow the car down a little bit, but obviously not enough. And pretty much, I got hit with driving without a license. And pretty much it took Uber like 2 years to see that. I never got in any accidents on Uber, and I had a great record on Uber. But since that pretty much happened and the background check thing finally picked it up, they kicked me off of it. But I don't really care too much because, again, for drunk drivers and old people that couldn't drive for shit in my area, no offense, not like those even young people in my area that can't drive for shit. It's just typically my area that I live in is highly populated with old people, and it's typically sometimes most of the time old people doing the stupid shit. And then on top of that, you have the drunk drivers like the college students and shit like that. So it's fuck all that. And so it kind of worked out. So I just thought, oh, I'll do the Target on demand. They'll call me if they need help or yada yada. I'll pick up shifts and I could do my vet assistant shit. So I've been kind of busy with that shit and kind of getting that all wrapped up. But pretty much today's video, we're going to be talking about Wi-Fi skeleton. And pretty much his whole situation is very fucking interesting and actually pretty crazy. I'm going to link a couple of videos down in the description below. But pretty much it's just going to kind of, the videos I'm pretty much linking are kind of just past videos about him and how his past was. So Wi-Fi skeleton actually used to have a commentary channel, and it's actually interesting because I never really heard about this commentary channel, and I would have been like, oh, I've always watched all the commentaries, I blah blah blah, I know the most, like, but I've been in the commentary community for a while, or just kind of in the little space. But again, those are always different corners of the internet and shit. And this guy was in one of the commentary corners of the internet. But either way, he was a very popular commentary YouTuber that went by Cyrus. But pretty much, he got fucking exposed for talking to underage girls. I don't know if there were like pictures involved or any of that, but like homeboy was doing some Diddy ass shit. And pretty much it's sad to see that because this motherfucker actually made some good music. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a whole fucking R. Kelly ass situation where like you have someone that makes some really good ass music, but then they're a fucking weirdo. And you're like, I can't support this. Or like whatever the fuck. And again, it's a mixed situation because it's not exactly like R. Kelly where he went and just pissed on some girl's head. Again, I'm not too sure if there were ever pictures exchanged or he ever hooked up with these people or any of that. All I know is there were DMs exchanged. There were, him talking over the phone and shit. So, it's a little weird. But, either way. So all of that happens. He ends up being this pretty big commentary creator. Ends up getting kind of dethroned from that for being on some weird Diddy shit and like DMing like chicks and shit. And just kind of just being a manipulator and manipulating the fuck out of people. So that happens. He realizes that shit out the window. That shit he done for. And then pretty much after that happens, he goes on to making like 2 or 3 like music personas. I'm not too sure like how many names he fucking had and what they were and all of this. I just know he went by like 2 or 3 other names. So I need a drink. My throat's like dry as fuck. But at this time, he would start dropping music, and his music was actually pretty fucking good. It wasn't that bad. And it's sad because since he technically changed his name and all of that, changed his whole persona, no one really knew his past. He was actually really good at hiding that, and usually a lot of people like that are pretty good at just, okay, shave off the old name, here's the new name, here's this, I'm a completely blah, blah, blah. Like, try change every single little thing to throw people off, pretty much. And it's sad because, again, few weeks ago, like maybe a month ago, I was just getting into his music because he was again blowing up on TikTok and Instagram and shit like that. Not a lot of people knew about his past, obviously. I didn't really even know about his past until like 3 hours ago because, again, I'm always smart enough before I make a video on a motherfucker, do at least a little bit of research. Even if that's watching a 20-minute video about the motherfucker, like, and if you do, don't steal that person's ideas, but, like, use the information they gave you, type of thing. And pretty much, just kind of along the whole rabbit hole with this dude. And I'm really mixed feelings because, again, this dude, is it really straight up like, oh, he went and met up with this chick and did this and that and blah, 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 blah. It just seemed like most of it was, like, online messaging and shit, which, again, is still pretty fucking weird, some Diddy shit, but again, he's not like out here like grabbing chicks in the alleyway and raping them or some shit. Again, not really saying like what he was doing was really any better, manipulating women online, especially some of them being minors and shit, which is, again, a bit fucking weird. But pretty much what's sad though is, again, once you do, it's almost like kind of like looking at it from like if the person was like a schizophrenic, psychotic person that's like, oh, I'm gonna kill everyone. You could get them help and you could help them through it, but once they actually commit the action and commit to it, then it's a different story. And it's like, okay, motherfucker, you did it, you're a fucking weirdo. And I feel like when it comes to like certain stuff, I'm not trying to give him an escape or try and be like, well, he's not that bad of a guy, or like try and sugarcoat it or try and defend him. But I do feel like you can kind of come back from that a little bit and kind of realize, okay, I'm wilding out, I need to not do that, or else it can lead to this, and I can actually end up doing some stupid shit I'm going to regret and end up in jail. That's all I'm trying to say with that point. And what's sad is his music career was going good, and it seemed like he kind of had his shit kind of going more, like he had his shit more together. Since again, I feel like when you're like that 18, 19, like a lot of these people you see them though getting hella popular, they have hella fame, and then they kind of wild out, and they wild out a little too fucking far, and then they get into like, oh, I'm getting all these chicks and shit, and then they're not really thinking if sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know, and I feel like with a lot of that, you just kind of get yourself caught up, and I feel like, again, it's like, with a murdering psychopath, that you could have someone that's like, oh, I'm gonna kill everyone, like, you should obviously take that with serious matter, like, take that into serious matters and really take that serious, but also you can help that person, you can give that person therapy, you could do whatever you gotta do, as once they kind of commit that, there's really no going back. You can still help them, but again, there's no going back, as until they really commit it, like, you know. But also, again, once you start messaging them and you know what you're doing, it's kind of that weird teeter-totter where it's like, eh. So again, I'm not really trying to defend him, I'm not really trying to give him sympathy. But again, he was a young ass motherfucker. Like, again, he died at like 21, which again, really thinking about it, is not a lot of fucking time, obviously. And it just, like, again, seemed like he kind of was trying to get his shit a little bit more better and kind of not be some crazy dumbass, even though he was kind of a crazy dumbass with how his life ended. But, like, it just seemed like he was a more genuine dude, with his Wi-Fi skeleton era and shit. And what's sad is pretty much how he passed away is, like, they're saying suicide overdose, so pretty much, his friend, like, he was, you know, getting turned up with friends, doing drugs, whatever. Again, his friends were saying, like, we weren't doing that crazy of stuff, like, we maybe had one or two, as they had to try and take the drugs away from him and hide it, and he would find it and just keep doing more and more, and he kind of just did all of the shit he could until he fucking died. And they would, it's just crazy to think, and I feel bad for his friends, to go in, like, you know, you get some snacks for your friend, and you come back, and they're fucking dead, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's just kind of crazy situation. And I do feel bad for his family and shit. And again, like I was kind of saying earlier, I do feel like, till you really, like, commit to that shit, like, again, if you go out and you kidnap a little girl and you do some crazy shit, yeah, you should definitely be locked away forever, you piece of shit. But again, if you go out and you talk, or, you know, you're, like, doing some sus-ass shit, again, if you're sharing, like, explicit-ass images, yeah, buddy, you're cooked. But if you're just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not really trying to be like, there's levels to it. I feel like it's all pretty gross and pretty fucked anyways. But I feel like if you're talking and you realize, okay, this person is underage, okay, what I am saying is a bit wild, and you kind of take yourself back and you realize and you cut off shit before it goes too far, at least you kind of stepped in and did something before it went too far. And again, you go out, try to get help, do what you got to do. All I'm trying to say is you can maybe come back. But once you send images, once you go out and try and meet up with them, once you go out and do something with someone, you know, like a minor or some shit, that's when obviously, yeah, buddy, you're cooked. Just lock their ass up forever. And I feel like with him, he was a young guy. He was kind of just like, and I feel like they say that a lot, and I'm not trying to be like, well, he was a young guy, he didn't know, blah, 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 blah. But I think he was a young guy. We don't know exactly 100% his whole backstory, but a young guy, definitely with, like, self-confidence issues, mental health issues, and I feel like, really, at the end of the day, it just was kind of just a bad situation, and it just, a lot of the time when it's just kind of hard because it was almost like kind of like wasted potential. So this person had a whole bunch of potential and had, like, you know, the world pretty much at their fingertips, and at every point they had it, they just kind of fumbled that bag. And it's just sad to see that. And yeah, no, I feel like really at the end of the day, do I think he was like this worst human being to ever exist? No. And I do feel like with that dude, he might have not been as bad of like a fucking I again, with these whole situations, I haven't dived deep enough into the rabbit hole to really see how bad or how graphic the DMs were. Again, if he's sending this long to little girls, yeah, send the motherfucker to jail. But if he just, like, I don't know, at the same time, I feel like it's not right, and you should definitely go get help. You definitely should go check yourself. But if he's just, like, you know, talking to him and then says some wild ass shit, yeah, that's still fucked, and you should still go get some help and figure your shit out. But I feel like you can come back from it and kind of learn and be like, hey, what I did was wrong. I should never do that, or else if I do, it's going to continue to something really bad, and I'm going to ruin my life. I think that's what I was trying to say for the past 3 fucking minutes. And I feel like if he took that approach and kept the Wi-Fi skeleton shit going and kept dropping music, people would maybe come around and grow onto him and be like, okay, this guy switched up. He is getting his shit together. He's not pushing some weirdo shit. And then maybe he might have had some luck. But again, I don't know, because I don't want to say, well, people can always change, because again, people will have that approach with some people and they still do some weirdo weirdo fucking shit. And I don't want to just say, yeah, everyone changes, because some people do change and some people don't. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. And yeah, pretty much, at the end of the day, my condolences do go out to him and his family. And I do feel like it's a sad situation and a lot of wasted potential. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in the most respectful way as possible. He was a very talented dude. He obviously can entertain people. He could obviously make music. I just feel like if he mentally had his shit together and just took a more healthier approach, if that was going out, getting help, not just resorting to drugs and shit, that shit could have been better for him, that he wouldn't find himself in stupid little situations where he's getting all these dumb little allegations and shit like that. But pretty much, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.
I ain't with the drama. You can be my llama. Like 300 ball. These bitches 60 souls.